Hey everybody, what's up? It's John Henry. Quick turnaround this week for episode 10 of the Backstage at Open Highway podcast. Have a very special guest, Alanna Royale. I would call her an R&B singer, but that would be not enough. She's a really unique artist, a very unique person to speak to, very thoughtful, very engaging, has very strong beliefs in things, has toured around. It was really great to sit down and talk to her ahead of the show this Thursday. So Thursday, Golden Record, Alanna Royale with St. Louis artist Grooveliner. So really great bill, Golden Record. Check it out. Check out her new record, Trouble Is. It just dropped. But I don't want to waste any more time. I want to get right into this interview because it was a fucking blast. Check it out. Thank you for tuning in.
Now that it's recording, ask me
Uh-oh.
what do you think a good gotcha question is?
It'd be like, give me your complete thoughts on the Israeli-Gaza conflict.
Listen, we don't even have time for me to get into this because I have many thoughts and opinions, but also a lot of them are geared towards Americans and America role in this.
But
That's my gotcha question.
you've got a new record. Trouble Is. You're,
Mm-hmm.
you're out on a big tour
Mm-hmm.
starting in St. Louis, I believe. You did a date in Memphis.
St. Louis kick off because I love St. Louis. I love every time I go there. I love the people of St. Louis, and I always have a good time. I always want to be there.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you here. Thank you for joining our podcast, doing a little interview
Yes.
here.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
how many dates are you out for?
I think it's like 16 shows.
16 shows.
And then I believe, I can't really like say, but I believe the
Uh-oh.
tour will pick up again in February elsewhere in other parts of the country and the world.
Another leg. Another
Another
leg of
leg.
the tour. Yeah.
Yes.
But this record, because I was reading an article about your collaboration with you went to San Francisco. You moved away from home. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think that living in that city had an influence on the writing or soaking in different vibes from out that in that part of the country?
Yes, getting away from my home and a lot of people work from home on the regular,
Mm-hmm.
and for me that is a nightmare. I don't want to work from home. I am because I'm in charge of so many things. When I'm home, it's like, okay, I'm working, I'm rehearsing, I'm writing, I'm doing my laundry, I'm walking my dog, I'm like answering emails. To me, I have got to get away. I have to, even when we're recording in Nashville and like working in a studio in Nashville,
Mm-hmm.
it's still like I'm still gonna go get lunch from like my favorite spot. It's gonna feel like I'm kind of in my regular day. But when I'm able to like get all the way out and there's no distractions, no like, oh, I need to run here. I can like leave my house behind. I can leave my neighborhood behind and my friends and my social circle and everything and go somewhere. Like I am the most distracted person in the world. And I have got to be somewhere where I can just be immersed in like what I am doing.
That's great.
So that alone, even whether it was San Francisco or anywhere else, like that is good for me to be out there. But also, I always feel very at home on the West Coast in general. Like I feel drawn to the West Coast,
Uh-huh.
specifically California, all the time. And that area, Northern California, San Francisco, all the way up, is just like so stunning. I'm an East Coaster. It's not like anything I've ever like grown up around. The landscape, the views, and so it really just like puts me in a whole other place.
And this leads into one of the things I wanted to kind of pick your brain about the joys and struggles of a touring musician in 2023. Um, now,
Roll tape. She's got something to say.
we've we've never met in person, but the vibe that I get from you and reading about you and talking with you is that you're very hardworking and you hustle and you like to control or at least be heavily involved with every element of your career, whether it's the label
Mhm.
side or the artist side. Would that am I getting it right?
Yeah, I mean, in all truthfulness, I have been called the hardest working woman in
Okay.
the music industry many times. Because I do believe in community, and I do believe that we all have the opportunity to work together to build each other up and rise up together. But I also do believe at the same time that like no one's coming to get you, no one's coming to save you. I am the squeaky wheel. Like I like grease me, like I'm ready. Like there, if you want it, you have got to go say to everyone that you meet, I want this. I want this. I want
Yeah.
this. I'm willing to work, because there are plenty of people, and it's not even just about willing to work. There are a lot of people who are willing to do the work, but the grind is hard.
Mhm.
It sucks the life out of you, and you can grind for so long and not get a lot of results. So there are a lot of times where you're just like, this feels insane. And like, why would I keep pushing for something that like I'm not really getting any motion on? But what I've encountered is the beginning of my career up until this point has been a series of baby steps, baby steps. And for a long time, I was like, why is this not going? I feel like I got it as like a performer, as an artist. And I realized that I was not really all the way there yet in my like artistic development. Like there was bones there. There was like a good raw something to work with, but the missing key was like I had to do some like deep digging as a songwriter and like get my like mind together to present something that was like fully thought out all the way from start to finish. And that's what I did with this record, and I have seen an insane difference in how I've been received and talked about and treated. And I've really take this record as like the rebirth. Like really I look at it as like starting from the very beginning. And I do work really hard, and I do grind, and I do make myself insane, but it's because I do at the end of the day truly believe I have something that people want. And I see that today more than ever. And all those little baby steps where I felt so frustrated, like why won't this thing turn around, like why won't it go, I was like, oh, because you weren't ready. Like there was
Mhm.
something there that still needed to be refined and honed in. And like I changed producers. I started a record, I scrapped a record, I let go of a band member that had been with me for a long time. And that really hurt. And that was really hard. But all of those tough decisions got me to where I was. And I wasn't even able to make those tough decisions because I was being soft. I was like too codependent. And I did all these baby steps. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, there you are. Oh, there you are. Okay. Now we got it. And so now I'm not really mad about the baby steps anymore. I'm not frustrated because it all was very necessary to my growth.
It's that was that's great to hear. And it sounds like you were on the journey of trying to find the best version of yourself, both artistically and with regard to the hustle.
Yes. And they are so intrinsically linked. I can't believe it. And there are so many times where, all I've ever done my whole life is read about artists and musicians and learn about them and their life and how they work on the road and how they work in the studio. It's been my obsession since I was a child, even not just musicians, but like performers in general, like comedians and people who, directors, people who like have a story and it's their job to like take it to the masses and tell it. And all of that, I've learned so much. There's been so many aha moments, but the one thing about that was that it really instilled in me like how everyone else does it, but not really how Alanna Royale does it. And it took me a long time to figure out how I really do it and put it together. And you have to like really intensely humble yourself and be like, okay, like I can be better. I need to do the work. And that work is brought together by a lot of people being very honest with me in my life and in my career. And as I worked on myself and worked on my artistry, the two kind of crossed into each other in a way that I didn't expect. And I realized that there was a lot of deep, deep things going on inside of me that needed to be worked out so that I could move forward in my life as an artist and in my career. And once I got all that shit straightened out, everything started to just make a lot more sense.
All in the place.
TLDR, go to therapy. Go to therapy. This whole record is just a love letter to people who are like, I'm stuck in bad situations. I
Yeah.
can't get out of these things. That's why the record is called Trouble Is, because trouble is a caveat. It's like, oh, I'm a great musician and a great performer, and like everyone tells me that I've got it. Trouble is, I can't sell tickets. Trouble is, I'm not moving records. And it's like, well, then, like, there's all these caveats, and it's like, well, let's get to the very base of like who we are, what we're doing, and find a way through the tough times to make it on the other side. And that's really what this record is about.
Wonderful. How would you describe generally your writing process?
Chaos. It's chaos because um up until maybe even a couple months ago, if I'm being really honest, I have taken like insecurity to a whole new level. Like there's like insecurity, there's like so many levels of insecurity. There's like regular, degular, we're all people and we're all a little bit insecure about whatever. Then there's like the artist insecurity, which is like no matter how much praise is heaped on you, you still don't believe in yourself. There's the imposter syndrome. Then there's like the diva insecurity that's like you're actually literally number one. Like everyone around you, around the world, like you've got the sales and you've got the tickets, and whether you're male or female, the diva mentality exists, and it's like it's just not enough. Like Aretha Franklin, one part of her story that's not really told is that Aretha Franklin was like so chronically like insecure, that even when she was like the queen of soul and doing her thing, her younger sister put out like a single 45, and Aretha was like, how could you do this to me? And like,
Re-
it's like that deep diva insecurity that is
Wow.
like I'm so threatened by every single person around me that I cannot allow anyone in my circle. And what I did was I took that insecurity to a level of like unnecessary heights where it was like, I will not allow myself to feel good about anything I'm doing. I will constantly dog myself. This layer of like protection and just like not wanting to avoid rejection. And my therapist was talking to me about like identities and like who we are as people. In our families, we play certain roles that maybe someone decided for us at 12 years old, this was the role in the family. And then you just play into it for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
And she was like, even the insecurity and the like hella self deprecation, she was like, that is ego attachment. That is your identity. And it's not, an ego is not just like I'm the best and this like whatever, like I'm like a genius sort of thing. It's like ego is just like your constant attachment to be like I am this thing. And she was like, if you took away this crazy self-deprecating persona, then like what would be there? And I was like, I don't know. And it was like, oh, that's really scary. Like, what's your personality? What's your identity as an artist if you take away all this like insecurity? And I had a conversation on the phone one time with my producer, Kelly Finnegan, shout
Yeah.
out, one of my best friends in the world, singer, monophonics, and just like an incredible artist and really a North Star for me. And my guitarist, Jared, and the three of us were on the phone, and Kelly had called me and said, hey, I have this really dope idea for this song on the record, da 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 da. And he was excited. He called me and he's like, yo, I had this great idea. And I interrupted his flow and I was like, get someone else to sing it. And then it was like dead air. And it was
Uh,
like, anyways, so, and it's like, okay. And that moment was like, like, I was like, here you are. Monophonics is my favorite, one of my favorite bands, has been one of my favorite bands for many years. I think Kelly is a brilliant musician, really talented artist. And he was like, yes, Alanna, I will take you under my wing and we will
mhm.
work together and we will fucking get you where you want to go. And because of my work with him, I've gotten a publishing deal and a sync deal and all these dope things. And here we are on the phone and he's like, yo, I have a great idea for this thing that we're doing all together. And I was like, my need to
Right.
insert that part of my personality was so huge that you could just derail the creative process in general. And you can like take someone's excitement about something, and there's a moment where you have to look around the room and be like, you're here with all these people. These people, you're not, Janelle Monáe. You're not this like
Right.
massive superstar where people are like, I'll just be in the room no matter what. I don't care. I just want to be here. It's like everyone here is like doing something, sacrificing their time, their energy to be here. So are you going to let this go? Because it's really time to let it go. And that was a turning point in my life I will never forget, where I was like, this self-deprecating bullshit and this like need to constantly invalidate myself, like what are you even doing, what's the point anymore? And
Wow.
I had to let it go, and since then it's been a game changer. It's hard, it's a struggle, but I
But
couldn't
you're putting
anymore.
in the work.
Every day I'm so tired of putting in work on myself. I don't want to grow anymore. I don't want to,
Yeah.
like I do, but man, this is why people avoid it,
Right.
because I feel
It's
like
hard. Yeah.
it's so hard. In almost every week of my life I'm having a new realization and I feel like I'm a new person. And I saw someone recently talking about self-loathing and what it means to like hate yourself or not like the current version of yourself. And this woman was like, do you not like yourself, or are you growing at such a breakneck speed that you are never the same person twice in 1 week, and you already are unhappy with who you are because you're growing so fast? And I really have been like, ah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm
Do you,
growing so much all the time.
do you think that artistically, and I guess in a way personally, it's like you spend your life growing up wanting to be loving certain artists and wanting to be how they are. And really what people just want from you is to be you. They just want to hear something that you're doing and your spin on it.
I literally, this was a huge part of putting this record together and before I put it out, because I was like, when I first started, I thought I wanted to do this like Ike and Tina, like, rock and soul review kind of thing, high energy, background singers, horns, da 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 da. And as I like grew, I naturally grew away from that. And I still love that. That's still something I love, the like Ike and Tina, Joe Cocker, like kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, but then I started like writing different types of music and feeling really like comfortable in the direction I was going in. And I started wanting to be like, okay, I don't want to just write songs about like, I wanted to write songs about like heavier topics and a little bit of a deeper and darker themes. And I said to myself over and over again, like, I don't know if people want to see this from me. I don't know if people really want to hear this
Mm-hmm.
from me. I think they just want me to like write my bops and like be sassy on stage and
Mm-hmm.
do my thing. And I was like, but this is like a very big part of who I am. And I feel like if I don't represent it, then like, what's the point of all of this?
Right.
And so I was like, okay, I like took a gulp and I was like, let's put this record out where I'm singing about like a nervous breakdown after like trauma therapy and like what it feels like to like be begging someone for love over and over and over again and just never getting anything back. And all of these really dark themes that I wanted to touch on. And then I put it out and it's only been out for a week and 2 days probably. And the response has been unbelievable. People not only want this part of me, they have thanked me for putting this part of me out. They feel like that I've gifted them something so intimate and delicate. And it has also brought crazy stories out of fans face to face at the merch table, online, comments, whatever, of people being like, let me tell you what this song did to me when I heard it. And I was like, what was I even worried about? Because they want the real you. Nobody wants
Right.
fake you. Fake you is not real. So there's nothing to even tell.
Well, yeah, I'm listening, and I just want to. I'm just happy for you. I'm happy to hear that it's going. You're getting the results that you've been wanting, and they're real.
It's
It's real. You're being real, and you're hearing people are happy that you're being real. It's nice.
and I was nervous about that. And we actually like went into repress on Saturday, 1 week into the release. We just went into repress and I won't be getting my next round of physical records until January. So
Uh-oh.
uh we
Cadillac
will
problems. Yeah, yeah,
you if you want this record, I would recommend buying it right now.
yes.
I
It's
can't
selling.
guarantee it'll be around again. So that's good news.
Yeah, this is great. This I've really enjoyed this conversation. Thank
Thank
you
you.
again for doing it. I want to get a couple of rapid fire answers from you here in a sharing is caring.
Okay.
If you don't have to do it completely rapid fire, but let's
Okay.
Alanna Royale, what is your favorite food city in America?
Um, Either San Francisco or New Orleans.
Oof. Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's a really tough
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Okay. All right. So if you're in San Fran, what are you getting? If you're in New Orleans, what are you getting?
Okay, so in San Francisco, you have like the most like insane Chinatown, in America.
Hmm.
And there are some like really traditional, like iconic staples in San
Yeah.
Francisco. But there's a sushi restaurant in San Francisco called Shizen, Shizan or En, I can't remember. And it is so beautiful on the inside, but it's a completely vegan sushi restaurant. And instead of
Oh,
using like fake meat and like gluten or soy-based meats or whatever like that, they manipulate fruits and vegetables and they compress watermelon and they like chop and screw food and they do like fish roe, they do like a caviar topping that's all
wow.
plant-based and you get these like incredible dishes. I mean, the presentation is insane and the food is absolutely mind-blowing. And it's a fully vegan sushi restaurant. There's one like it that I've eaten at in San Diego as well. And really like sushi is something that I'm just like, man, I just miss sitting down and like eating sushi. I love it. Like nigiri, maki rolls, anything. And that place really does it for me.
Great. Well, yeah, that area of San Francisco is insane.
So
I've walked around
beautiful.
it. Yeah, that's good. Uh, what's your favorite part of the country to tour?
I would say I really do love the Midwest. As an East Coaster, I didn't really, East Coasters don't really know much about the Midwest
Yeah.
in general, and it gets kind of like a bad rap, the flyover
Uh-huh.
state sort of vibe. But
Yeah.
I gotta say, like, I did my first couple like tours, when I moved to Nashville in the Midwest, and it was just a completely different vibe. I had people. Um, in the South and the Midwest overall, I would be on stage and be like, hey, I need to go to yoga tomorrow morning. And I would have someone be like, hey, I just talked to the owner of this yoga studio. She said, come for free tomorrow. She would love to treat you. I played a house show in St. Louis and people DM me and say, like, what do you want to eat? Like, we'll bring you anything you
Yeah.
want. Like this vibe of like, it's not like just like gratitude because a lot of major tours when they're going through like, they do like Chicago, New York,
Yeah.
LA,
Hmm.
Seattle, that's it. People do kind of go over it sometimes. And it's not just they're like grateful for you to be here, but it's just like, I think that there's a lot of value in the Midwest. There's so many people and there's so much going on there that I think it gets a bad rap. And I think they're just psyched to see that there's someone psyched about it.
Well, hell yeah. We love hearing this in the Midwest. No, it's
Yes.
yeah,
And I
no.
love St. Louis is one of my favorite places in America. I always have a good time when I'm in St. Louis. The people are so good and kind and really enthusiastic. And I just always have such a good time there.
Well, thank you. It's good to hear that.
Yay.
Um, what's a record or a song that's living in your head rent free right now?
Oh, man, that's really tough. Okay, I just heard. Okay, here's a song. This is very true. I follow this guy named Salam Remy on Instagram, and Salam Remy is like an iconic producer. He was like best friends with Amy Winehouse. When I was a kid, when I would buy like a Whitney Houston record or
Mhm.
Mariah Carey record, Jennifer Lopez, there was always like a Salam Remy remix at the end. The estate of Marvin Gaye asked him to remix unreleased Marvin Gaye records. He started in the game so young. He's already retired. Like he's just a little bit older than me and he's retired. He's like, I'm done. And every year he posts this tribute to Amy. He's just kind of been through it, seen it all. But his Instagram is amazing to to follow because he doesn't really post anything personal. He just finds archived clips of performances from Soul Train, Top of the
Oh,
Pops,
great. Yeah.
Bandstand, whatever. And he posted a video of a woman performing, and it's not something I had ever seen before. It was a singer I did not know and a song I did not know. And I literally could not stop listening to this song. And this woman's voice is out of control. It's a woman named Randy Crawford, and the
Andy
song is
Crawford.
called One Day I'll Fly Away. And the record came out in 1980.
Okay.
Her voice is insane and the song is crazy. And I heard this clip, went and found it on streaming, and I have been listening to it on repeat. I've already memorized it. I've learned the whole thing, and I was like, I'm covering this song, like I'm doing it. It is the main lyric is one day I'll fly away, leave your love to yesterday. Uh uh what more can love do for me? When will love be through with me? And it's like such a beautiful song. Oh, please go listen to it. Randy
Okay.
Crawford.
We're gonna link it. We're gonna link it on here.
Please.
Where is a place that you go to find peace?
Oof. Oh no, I'm being filled with existential dread right now
No
because
pressure. This is supposed to be the easy part.
I think finding peace is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Question might be a simple, we like to say in our band, simple, not easy. Sometimes something can be simple, but it's not necessarily easy. And so when you ask me a simple question like where do I
Yeah.
go to find peace, I'm kind of actually saying struggling that I don't know if there's a place particularly that I can find peace, but I will say two things. My therapist's office, I see my therapist religiously and I love her, and I've always been like just very comfortable at being exactly who I am every single time I show up in therapy. No pretense, no nothing. I can just kind of go in there and fall apart and like be my most authentic self. But also, every morning, I don't touch social media until after 11 o'clock in the morning. I never look at social media in the
Oh,
morning. Never, 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 ever, 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 for multiple reasons. The first thing I do in the morning is I read. So, as busy as I am, I read more than 12 books a year, which is like always my minimum goal is like a book, not a book a month, but just like 12 books a year minimum. And I've already read a significant amount of books this year, and I read every morning. I don't get out of bed. I drink my coffee in bed and I read every day. And I feel like that is the most peaceful part of my day because I don't allow anything else in except what I'm reading. And we call it slow morning. I have slow morning. My dog is there. I'm chilling, drinking my coffee, and nothing else touches my brain until I'm up and that part of my day is over.
That's super insightful. That's interesting. Yeah, because I've heard that in the morning, my kids in particular, like the mornings are the best because when their brains are like fresh right when they wake up, and they're just so sweet. And I mean, they're always sweet. There's just like a vibe, and
Yeah,
not letting social
accountability.
media creep into that seems like a wise decision.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I want to see when I wake up in the morning, especially if I've like had a long night before, or
Mhm.
like I got a big long day ahead of me, I don't want to see like another artist who's like, tra la la, like I was just on like Saturday Night Live last night. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't, okay, I don't, that's not what I need to see right now. That's not gonna fucking make me
Right.
feel great about myself. But also, one of the things I read about, like the chemical reaction that we have from social media, the dopamine hit, if you start your day, you see all your likes and your
Hmm.
comments, it gives you this like false dopamine hit that your body might not be able to reach again for the rest of the day. And your day actually feels harder and
Uh,
tighter and less validating. And it's harder for you to reach that dopamine level again during the day, especially when you're ultra stressed and stress just like kills your dopamine. So I don't want to start my day with like, oh, I got all these new followers overnight and all these new posts and da da da. Like, I don't want to see that. I want to like enjoy that as the day goes on and not just start my day at like the height of my
the height.
dopamine.
That's a good, okay. That's a, wow. I feel like I'm going to, like, you're my therapist today.
Listen, I get that a lot. My brother and I do full therapist speak to each other.
Yeah.
We are very like cautious and being children of trauma, that's just we've done the work and we've realized like how we can speak to each other in like a healthy, productive way. And I really do try and impart that on other
Well, that
people.
was, yeah, no, I mean, I said that tongue in cheek, but for real, I mean, this was, recording this with you, just having never met, I wasn't sure how, which direction this was going to go in. And this has been unbelievable. Thank
Ah,
you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Um, I really do appreciate it. And I just want you to know that, like, I think you know this, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to come to St. Louis again this week. And I do work so hard. And I have seen things from other artists recently that have put a lot of things in perspective for me. And one in particular is there's an artist in Nashville that I'm friends with, who is significantly, I think, I don't like to quantify it like this, but like farther ahead in their career than I
Hmm.
am, more fans, more streams, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
And I found out recently that like they were told by a venue, like if you don't sell 20 more tickets, like we're going to cancel the show.
Right.
And they are like, they had to hop on social media and be like, yo, we've got to sell 20 more tickets or they're
Yeah.
going to cancel the show. And for my first reaction to that was like, well, then what fucking, like an artist
Right.
like me, then what's the fucking point even? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? What chance do I stand if someone who's out here like this? I was on a bus tour last year, hanging with a band, and a venue canceled a show
Hmm.
on a bus tour
Really.
from low ticket sales. And they ended up like finding an alternative and doing something else. But I'm just like, damn, if these bands that are so much bigger than me are having a hard time selling tickets, what hope is there for me? And I've tried my hardest to flip it to be like, not only am I going to go give the best show on this tour that I've ever
Hmm.
given in my career, the absolute best show, but I'm also going to say, good for me that I am bringing people through the door. I am selling tickets everywhere because
Yeah.
if these people are already having a hard enough time, I want to feel like pride for what I've done. And I know that St. Louis is going to be a good show. I feel it in my heart. And I started running my own ads today as well as promoted posts on
Yeah.
like bands in town. And I just want you to know, like, I work so hard and I will continue working up. And I'm trying to get with Euclid for a last minute boost because I just got my report from my distributor, what stores got my record across the country. Euclid got some. So I'm trying to do a collaborative post with
Okay.
them as well. So I'm like doing everything I
Okay.
can
You got to feed the beast with this stuff. And it's,
constantly.
I've always looked at the promoter side because I got into this from the artist side, and it's like it has to be a partnership. It's not supposed to be an adversarial relationship. And you coming on, just in chatting with us about this. I mean, we're going to chop this up for clips. We're going to put the full thing out. I mean, I feel like the more people that hear about you will like you. I mean, your personality and just you're so easy to talk to and fun. And
Thank you.
aside from the music, that you just have to do everything you can to get it out. And
And it's
thank you
hard.
so much. Yeah.
Thank you. I read that Lord was going to cancel shows in Europe due to low ticket sales because Lord is like, I got to come from New Zealand. I have like, it
Yeah.
is so expensive for me to
That's a
just
lot of
get
stuff.
there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Lord is one of the biggest fucking global pop stars in the world.
Yeah.
And she's like, yo, these aren't even enough ticket sales to like make it worth it. I'm
Yeah.
just, damn. And I know we're coming off the summer of like the Beyonce, Taylor Swift, like people spending ungodly amounts of money.
Yeah. Holy shit.
I did. I spent $250 on a Beyonce ticket. I
Yeah.
regret nothing. I would do it again tomorrow. It was like one of the most
Yeah.
moving, incredible things I've ever seen in my life. I was like, when I came home, I was like, that was the closest I'll ever get to seeing Michael Jackson. Like, I'll
Yeah.
never see Michael
Yeah.
Jackson in his heyday. And what Beyonce just did just gave you that, like, I am the most powerful performer you will ever see in your life. The show, my whole team, the fashion, the production, it was crazy. But I get it. And I just want you to know that I'm working really hard and I do work so hard every time. So if there's anything you need me to do, even if it's last minute, if you have a radio connect, anything like
Okay.
I'll do it. I'll show up anywhere.
Okay. Well, thank you. The same. Yeah, same with
Yay!
us. So this was really, really good. You're a
Thank
great guest. Do people tell you that you're like awesome to have on a podcast?
I do get that a lot, especially nowadays because I'm a little bit more like focused. I used to be so chaotic, and I would like before I started going to like deep therapy, like I had all this stuff, but it was like jumbled, and I couldn't really like streamline it and get it out in a way. And that was how my songwriting was, where it was like I'm trying to do this thing, and then like
Hmm.
when I first started working with Kelly, I like brought to the studio this song, and I was like, Kelly, this is like my song. This is a song that's gonna like tell my whole life, and like this is the song that people are gonna like be like, oh, Alanna Royale. And I played it for him, and he was like, Alanna, like all those things that you told me before we played it, I didn't really get any of that in the song. And I was like, oh no. And he was like, let's retool it and like let's make it clear. Let's like get your ideas out there clearly.
Hmm.
Cause my brain pre-therapy was like so jumbled up. And then we like retooled it and retooled it and retooled it. And for like 2 days, we worked on this one song. And by the end, I was like, I hate this song now. It's like a stressor. It doesn't feel good. I'm really frustrated. So we went home, went to sleep, came to the studio the next day, clear minded, hit it. And he was like, that's it. Like, this is it. This is the song. And I take that as like, that's so much of my life is like, there's so much there moving around. Atoms are bouncing off one of another. And I just needed to like comb through and like make it all make sense. And now it really hits. So interviews are easier for me now because I can like think clearly and I can kind of get myself across. And a lot of people are like, Alana, you should just be on TikTok because this is what TikTok was made for, was like people
Yeah.
like you.
I
Um,
mean, that's, yeah.
like
I mean,
direct person to person communication.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's funny because it's like social media can be such a hard and mean, divisive thing. But then there's also like, for me anyways, there's a lot of it that's really great. Like you get to see whether it's like behind the scenes stuff with your favorite artists or get inside the songwriting process or interviews like this or vintage guitars that I really loved, that collections. So for every like really negative thing that it can bring, I think there's some really cool stuff that I still like look at YouTube at times like the best invention in the world. It's like, oh my,
Oh, I agree.
yeah, I just fixed my
I
lawnmower, like this is unbelievable. Like,
yeah. Yeah, it's like if we used it as a tool for good only,
uh-huh.
we'd be in this like crazy
Yeah.
elevated
Yeah.
society.
Yeah.
Thank you
This was
so much.
amazing. You're the best. Thank you. That
Thank you,
was really great.
John.
All right. I'll
Have an
talk to you
amazing
soon.
day. Yes,
You
send me
too.
anything.
You see what I'm talking about? That was so much fun. She's so engaging and great chat. Set the Zoom meeting up for 30 minutes and we were counting it down. We had to wrap it up real quick and we even went over. So shout out to the free Zoom. But yeah, Alanna Royale, the Golden Record, October 19th. Please come check it out. It's going to be really great. Thanks for listening. Backstage at Open Highway Podcast. See you soon. John Henry, peace out. Have a great day. Be cool to people.